culture. What does Kwanzaa mean to you?
Oh, my heart is full for that one.
Yeah, you go ahead. You got the mic.
It's all about love. It's all about having a desire to be able to share your culture. You know, because even though it was created out of chaos, out of riot, you know, it was created to bring us together, you know, and to celebrate and know who we are.
Yeah.
You know, there's an African proverb, I'm probably going to say it wrong, until the lion tells his story. The what is it? The hunt.
The hunter.
Yeah, will never be glorified, you know. So we need to share our story.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, my goodness, and we pass it along. Tune in and listen to us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we give you our story with the Lively Art of Conversation. Hey, you know what time it is. If you're on the road driving right now, it's 7:30 a.m. on Sunday morning. This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. And I got another phenomenal episode for you, one that's near and dear to my heart. I've got one of the founding mothers. That's right, one of the founding mothers for this Bell County area, out here doing her stuff for nearly 3 decades. That's right, that's 30 years, and she's in studio today. But like I always do, I give a shout out to my underwriters. Without my underwriters, this show would not exist. So I will say this. If you're looking to be an underwriter for 2026, now is the time. I'm telling you it's the time, because we're getting ready to get this thing booked. So if you want to be an underwriter, please reach out to me. If you want to shoot a commercial, please reach out to me. And if you want to do a show, I'm booked to March. That's right, I am booked to March. So if you have a show that you want to do, you need to get at me right now, because I'm telling you, somebody's already emailing me about the show. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pay homage. That's what I said to my underwriters. Without you, it will be no show.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to the Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service, so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email ToniShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach at gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. We're back with the lively art of conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass along. I'm Dr. Rodney Duckett here in the studios right now, FM 103.1, doing what we do here. I'm rolling with my tribe. That's right, my tribe creates my vibe that I'm here, and I'm here with the Queen Mother here in Bell County. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, you about ready to find out, but I'm pretty sure you know her. She's synonymous. She's a household name. But guess what? Like I always do, I start off with that word. That's right, the word of the week. It is 2026 right around the corner. And we're going to start off with the word principles. That's right, principles. Okay, you're probably saying, why is that word so synonymous? I'm going to tell you why that word is synonymous. Because principles, it is the why behind the what. That's right. That is what you're rooted to, those principles. It is that why, the why. And no other. Then in a few days, we celebrate Kwanzaa. That's right, Kwanzaa. And it's all about those principles of Kwanzaa that makes it happen. So the quote for you is, the Nguzo Saba are the lamps of our heritage, guiding us towards unity, self-determination, and the collective creation of a better future for our people. That's right, our people. And that's what Kwanzaa is all about. It's about setting the tone for the new year. But I want to hit you with this. I really do. Here's the question. Here's the question for you this week. Can you define your why behind your what? Oh, that's a mouthful. Can you define the why behind your what? If you do not have your pen and your paper out, if you're not recording this, if you don't have that cell phone open the notes, you got to get with the word of the week, and that word is principle. And our thought-provoking question is, can you define your why behind your what? Ladies and gentlemen, I have an honor. And when I say an honor, there's those in this community that I love, and there are those in this community which is the bare bone consciousness of who I am as a black man in this community. I say, when I say this, I stand on the shoulders of greatness. Today, I have those shoulders right here in this studio. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, she's been on this show before, but you know her for the great works that she's done in the community for 3 decades. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Empress herself, Miss Darlene Golden, is in the house.
Thank you. That was an awesome. Oh, gosh. I'm just humble. Thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you here. And I do that with you and Babatunde. I run my mouth, but everything that I mean, I say, because there's a lot of times you guys do not get your flowers for the work that you've done in the community. And I've always said, love her, love him, hate him. But you know what? They have been the consistent voice within this community. So without you, there would be no me. Without you, there would be no Aya Nelly. Without you, there will be no Ronnie Russell. Without you, there will be no community. So you took the ball from Babatunde, you ran with it, and you seen so many silos out there attempting to do what you have done within the community. But I'm telling you, you have been consistent for the 3 decades that I've witnessed this from under one roof to where you are today. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad to have you here. Let's start off about this. Like last time we talked a little bit about you. And let's refresh our audience. Who is Miss Darlene Golden?
Oh, I thought you wasn't going to do that.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
I'm a retired disabled vet. I'm also a mother of 4 children, 3 girls, 1 son. I have 17 grandchildren, 5 great-grands, and 1 on the way.
Woo! I am telling you. I mean, you heritage right there.
And I also have a host of youth that they also call me Nana.
Yes.
So I'm basically everyone's grandma.
Yes. You are a queen mother. You're a queen mother. Like, how does that feel knowing that you are a queen mother? You know, a lot of people use that term, but you are that term.
How do it feel? I really can't say. I mean, it's just natural for me. My children say sometimes, Mama, you can't talk to them kids that way. You can't do that. And I'm old school, so
yes,
and
you are.
And I came up a certain way, and I just believe in that village concept. So when I see a child doing something wrong, they could be walking down the street. I don't have to know them. I'm going to say something to them, you know. And if they look at me and say something a certain way, I'm going to say, oh, you know what? I'm getting ready to follow you home. You know, because I know your parents don't want you out here talking this way.
Exactly.
You know, so it's just me. That's embedded in me, I guess. It's just me. So I don't know how to feel about that. I just do.
Yeah. And what you are doing is much needed because you say it's old school. I'm saying you're the original. You are the only school when we have to go back to ensuring that our youth and some of our adults are corrected because we miss the importance of what it is to have an elder amongst us. And now we sometimes we look past that as it's insignificant, but our elders have paved the way for us. And a lot of times the younger kids don't understand that because it's not being reinforced. Of course, not in the schools, definitely not in the home. So it's always good to find that elder, that queen mother, that foundational father out in the streets, really enforcing the idea of like you're standing on the shoulders of people you have no idea that sacrifice.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of them that sacrifice, you know, and
Yes.
even the unknown. It's I know of them as well, you know. So with that knowledge, I have to pave the way and continue to pave that way, you know, because if we don't teach our youth, you know, they're going to be lost. And I see so many today that, how can I say it? You got children raising children. And then when we see it as a problem, we're not solving it, you know. So we should be opening up, you know, the community, have something so the parents that are raising these children that didn't get the proper guidance, or if they got the guidance, you know, because I'm gonna tell you like this, there's no how they say a blueprint.
No, it's
You know, there's no blueprint, so I can't turn around and say that, oh gosh, this child is lost.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that they lost, but that's my interpretation. That's
Yes.
what I think. But, you know, anything that's lost can be found.
Most definitely.
You
Most
know,
definitely.
so I guess I can't use the word lost, you know. I have to turn around and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to have to meet you where you at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
And when I meet them where they at, nobody's lost. We just build and keep encouraging and lifting each other up.
Yeah, I remember I had this math teacher named Miss Henderson. She's since passed away. Shout out to Walt Whitman Elementary School if you're listening to this. And she was a brute of a woman. She really was, but she was old school in the fashion. And I remember her telling me one day, it seemed like you lost yourself. You better find your way before you get in this classroom. She used to always say that. Go outside, find yourself, come back into my classroom, and that was just her thing. You had to realize that, Miss Henderson was the wall of resistance, because on the other end of that, there was going to be some corporal punishment, and she was very heavy handed. So you have that about you. And I like the fact that you have never given up on our kids in the community. And that's a hard thing, because there's a lot of men that I know that are afraid of the kids in the community, but it seems to be that the women, the mothers, are not afraid of their babies in the community.
That's true. But at the same time, men got a stigma, that's there from a long time, that, and that's got to do with the history, that's been put out, that it's kind of hard for me to explain, but I'm going to try to do the best I can. Doing the transatlantic slave trade and doing Reconstruction and that period, men were driven away from the home.
Yes, they were.
So when they got to come back into the home, there's that barrier that was there, that was created. You got to remember we got to get the men out the house, because the men were the not just the breadwinners, they were the enforcers.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden you got, doing civil rights movement. A little bit before that, you have I would say the system come in and they want to give you food stamps. They want to give you welfare. The man got to go out the house.
Yes.
So it built the women up, but it was tearing the men down.
Yes.
So when the men, you can say they're afraid. They just limited to what they can do and how they can approach some of these youth. But then we got strong men out there that say, you know what, I'm not going to be falling into that stigma. I'm not going to do it. And they press their way forward. And I salute them. I applaud them,
Yeah, and I truly believe what you're saying. And there's a battle right now in the political realm. Everybody has something to say. Everybody seems to be the subject matter expert of the Black lexicon and the Black experience of what it is. And I will go back to what the word that people hate when we utter this word. The only way that we would not have this social phenomenon known as warfare in the Black community is if we just had our reparation, the 40 acres and the mule. Had we had the 40 acres and the mule with the Black mindsets that we had back then and there, I think it would have changed the trajectory of where we are. But the one thing that I have learned about the Blacks here in America, and this is one thing that they have tried to not make us understand, is everything that you do here in America, everything that you're on, from the iPhone to the computer to the microphone that I'm on, to the stoplight, to the gas mask, to the light filament, and all those, even the sanitation pads that the women, is all Black creation. It's true. All Black creation. So just imagine 40 acres and a mule given to us. We probably would have been one of the most powerful, if not powerful, dominant entities right now in America. But we still have the potential to do that, but we have so much inbickering and infighting that's going on with us as Blacks, and I think we have to come to a common understanding of where we are and how do we move ourselves forward as a society of people, and then how do we fit into this American lexicon as being Black, because there's some people that don't even want to acknowledge that they're Black. They want to say that they're American, and I say no, that's not necessarily correct, because I know a lot of whites that call themselves whites before they call themselves Americans. So but with that being said, because I just went on my tangent there, all right, I just went on my tangent. This is kind of befitting what we're talking about here. We're talking about Kwanzaa, and we have to set the stage of Kwanzaa, and this is why Kwanzaa actually exists. So for my audience out there that might be new to Kwanzaa, you're the Kwanzaa subject matter expert. Can you tell me about Kwanzaa? Most importantly, tell me how you wind up occupying Kwanzaa in this community.
Oh, gosh. My mentor, Baba Tunde, he just came to the house one day. I used to go to the Kwanzaa that used to be at Under One Roof.
Yes.
And then he moved to Houston to help his daughter take care of his grandson. And he just came to the doorstep one day, had the Canara and the bins of all the Kwanzaa regalia, and saying, "Here, I'm going to give this to you," you know. Didn't ask me did I want to do it, you know. He was like, "You're capable. I know this is what you're supposed to be doing now." You know, he just automatically passed the torch. And I was like, "Oh gosh, how am I going to do this?"
Yes.
You know, so I took it up and, you know, decided that let's go back to the history of it first. You know, we started off in Moss Rose Community Center, which was befitting because where else when you right there in the projects, you know, to get to your people, you know, and we started off with educational platform, you know, to let them know what Kwanzaa was about. We had you there delivering, you know, health, you know, then it went to sustainable in the case of an emergency, you know, what do we need to do? We went to finances. We just tried to educate all the way around, you know. So that's the way it started. And each year we just expanded more and more. We got to the point that we looked at individuals in the community to see if they were actually doing the 7 principles, not every day, but 365 days out the year, and, you know, what they were doing. And we started awarding them, giving them plaques or canaras or whatever to show our appreciation, you know. But I want to regress a little bit.
Okay.
Because when you think about the history, you think about why it came about.
Yes.
You know, and you had all the different riots. You know, you had the riots in Chicago. You had the riots in Newark. You had them in Massachusetts. You had them in Washington. You know, you had them in the same places when we bring it up to date. Washington, Chicago, California. This stuff is happening again. History seems like it's repeating itself. And to me, Kwanzaa is very important because there's lessons that we should have learned. And now we going back into this demagogue, you know, of stuff happening again.
Yes.
And, you know, with this president, you know, I don't like to talk about no one. I talk down on anyone, you know, and I see a lot of that, you know, but that's history. You know, I feel like we need to look at our past to know our future. Because right now, the same thing that was happening in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, it's happening here in the 20s. Yeah. In the 2000s. What have we learned?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And you're seeing a repeat of that. Malani Karenga, which is the founder of Kwanzaa, you know, his whole idea was to bring together common unity, community together, to have us practice these core 7 principles, the Nguzo Saba, those principles to bring us together, to unite us. And a lot of people have their speculations about Kwanzaa. Oh my God, I've heard so many different things about Kwanzaa before. But you cannot deny the fact that Kwanzaa brings people together. It really does. And I love the principle of Kwanzaa. I first celebrated Kwanzaa in the latter parts of the 70s in Greenwood. My mom at Suburban Acres Library, she celebrated Kwanzaa. And I remember Kwanzaa because that was the only year the gifts that we would see would be books. There was a book. I mean, like, I had so many different books. You can just go pull brand new books off the table. People would invest in books. And I remember pulling the autobiography of Malcolm X. I remember pulling another book off the table about James Baldwin. And I still have these books to this day. And I remember the gentleman that used to volunteer the books. He says the most important thing a black man can have in his home is a library, and you're off to a good start.
That's true. That's true.
Definitely.
Because they say if you want to keep something from us, put it in the book.
Put it in the book.
And now, I tell my grandchildren and all the youth, reading is fundamental. I said, so y'all need to read. And the hardest part about it is the substance that's in the books that they putting out today.
Yeah.
Even they have them on the internet. I always tell my grandkids and then my children and them, I don't really like subscribing to, what do you call that? The Nook and the download a book.
Definitely.
If I have to download it, I'm going to print it out.
Yeah,
because I want a hard copy of it.
Put your hands on it.
Yeah, because they got that Wikipedia. You can change everything.
You can, yeah.
So buy the book.
Yeah, definitely.
The messages in the book, they can revise and rewrite it. But once you get that original, you can see where they start changing. And now they're getting in the schools and everything talking about, take this book off the shelf. Take that book off the shelf,
Yeah. I've had my arguments with politicians about that, even bringing them together on a panel to discuss, the literature and books. But let's do this. Let's transition to a commercial and come back. This is Dr. Rodney Duckett. You're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation, and we'll be right back.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email TonyShelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC outreach@gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. We're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. We are here with Miss Empress herself, Miss Darlene Golden. If you guys are interested on being a part of the Lively Art of Conversation for 2026, reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. And we are in this studio with the foundational principle of the woman that she is, Miss Darlene Golden. And we were talking about books and the importance of books and what's happening right now with books. So I will say this. As long as I've been remembering as a child growing up, and even as an older man, literature has been the foundation of me. My mother was a master librarian, and I was raised around books, all types of books, and I always say, before I started to read any black literature, I was reading other things that I probably shouldn't have been reading. But I remember as a young man my mom actually made me mad, so I was being a little defiant as a boy. I pulled the biggest book off the shelf, and I couldn't pronounce the word. And my mom told me to go to Uncle Webster, which was a dictionary, and I had to sound out the word, and the word wound up being archaeology. And then I remember opening up the book, and it landed on Oxum, Ethiopia, the land of Queen Sheba, and all these people were black. And I was like, wait a minute. They never told me this when I was in church. Like, what are they talking about? Sheba was black. So it got me curious to kind of dive into black history and what black history is. And I remember listening to albums, and the albums that I would listen to was Stokely Carmichael, H. Rap Brown, Huey P. Newton. And I was like, man, these guys are so fiery. I love the way that they talk. And I started as a kid trying to mimic how they sound because, they seemed like they were such important people. And then later on, I began to dive deeper into, the civil rights movement and working myself back. So books are very, very important. There are good books out there and there are bad books out there. But that kind of infringes on that freedom of speech thing that we talk about sometimes, And if you don't like the material that's there, don't buy it. You never have to buy it. It's like TV. There's some things on TV you should not watch. You just change the channel. So with that being said, we've got something very special that's coming up. Is this your 12th Kwanzaa, or am I losing track?
I done lost track.
Me too. I done lost track. I think it's more than that. I'm going to say I'm thinking maybe 15th. I mean, we've been doing this for a while. I know I've done about 10 of them with you, if not more. But we're doing it again.
Yes, we are.
Yes, let's talk about that.
That's going to be at the Killeen Civic Center.
Okay.
It's free to the public. It's the 27th. That's the date. The projection date is being the 27th of December. Mm-hmm. The time, still working that. Normally we start at 6 and the doors open at 5. I'm trying to see if we're going to have a market, so people can come in early and shop. But I want to do something just a little bit different. It's still going to be in line with Kwanzaa, yes. But I would like to have not just workshops, but have when the vendors be there, it'd be more of an educational platform.
Yes.
When they are, what is this all about? Mm-hmm. We need to go back, Sankofa, go back and know a little bit about our story, not his story. We need to know about us. And I would like for book authors to be there because we'll be doing something in March,
Yes.
So I would like for book authors to be there to tell their story. I would like, and that's part of our story,
It is.
I would like for even if it's vendors that's there that have something of substance, where did this kente cloth come from? Mm-hmm. Be able to tell this history of it, tell the story of it. I would like for, if it's a soap vendor or an oil vendor, whoever, tell, because that's us, and with the way the economy is and especially we shut down. So I feel like with the shutdown, we have these young entrepreneurs. We have entrepreneurs out there. Yeah. So they can say, the shutdown is not really affecting me. Even if I'm a construction worker, it's not affecting me because I have a craft.
Yes.
I have a skill, So we need to have I won't say a job fair or anything like that, but we need to have something of substance so people can turn around and say, you know what, this year Kwanzaa, I got education, I got information, not we always going to have our performances, we always going to have, we want to entertain, but I also would like for it to be more educational.
Yeah, and I tell you, the open markets that you have, I have, Lavina has, these open markets are powerful. I'm telling you, I still have products that I still use from the open markets. I have only soaps that I buy and I use. I'm being bougie these days now, but there's certain like soaps and personal hygiene items that I use. my beard cream. I told the lady I'm just going to go ahead and buy this thing from you and put my face on it because I use it so much, and everybody's all, oh, wow, your beard looks so good, because I got this at one of those open markets that we have. There's a lot of great products out there, a lot of great vendors. They do a lot of great work, and I highly encourage you guys to come out there and purchase and spend the day and be a part of it. The food is always good.
Yes.
The food is always good. And most importantly, I really enjoy seeing the kids bring in this new year of Kwanzaa, because you do a lot of heavy work with the kids.
Yes. We're looking at having youth steel pan players.
Yes.
We have actually 3 of them that actually left, 2 going in the Navy, which were my grands.
Congratulations.
And we have 5 new kids. So they're learning, and we're trying to get them ready. They'll be ready, not trying. They'll be ready to do a performance in Kwanzaa. We're going to have the drums. I'm looking for the dance group, so they can get that culture side. I like for poets to speak,
Yes.
So we want that spoken word. We want the entertainment. I usually ask Miss Dee Dee, because she has the expressive talent show.
Yes.
I always would like for whoever that performer was that won to actually come. And we like to feature them, hey, she won, We never put Miss Juneteenth out there, We never put out. It's all about the youth, because we got to pass that torch on. So I like for this year, because I'm looking at it there, because my kids keep telling me, Mama, you keep saying every year you're going to give it up. It's time to give it up. So I'm looking to say, you know what? If I got to give it up, then I need to go out with a bang,
Yes.
So I would want to pass off the youth, because we always feature the youth.
Yeah.
And we have the youth and you, because I can't move around as much as I used to.
I don't know, Miss Darlene, because when you always say that, but every year you get this surge of adrenaline, and you all over the place. I can't get you to slow down.
I know, but you know what? When the end of the night comes and I get ready to try to get in that truck, I try to get in my house. My son is holding on to me, trying to get me to get up the stairs. By that time, the adrenaline rush is gone, and I'm in pain. But it's worth it,
Yeah. Yeah, you do such a great job. You and your kids, your daughters, Larry, your son. I mean, it's really a family affair, and that's the one thing that I tell people about Kwanzaa. It is the whole family that is putting in this work to make Kwanzaa happen, and it's really truly a blessing that it has pushed out so long. So, guys, you really need to come out for this Kwanzaa event this year. This is one of my favorite events throughout the year, because this is like the end of the year type thing, but it's the first harvest. It's us coming together to be there and enjoy the harvest and just share fellowship with our brothers and sisters that's there. And I will say this, a lot of people sometimes get confused by Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa, is a celebration for blacks, but everybody's invited. We have invited everybody to Kwanzaa before, and the ones that have come out to Kwanzaa have said, I never knew it was this exciting and fun.
Yes.
Yeah. So it really is. So with Kwanzaa that's happening, you had said that afterwards, 2026 in March, you got something else that you're going to be doing.
We'll be doing World Book Day.
Okay.
I have a granddaughter, Janae. She's been on here before. Yes. She's spearheading it, along with Shake the poet,
Yes.
And she said, Grandma, I want to do something for book authors. So I tell her, it's okay, Janae, I'm getting with her now, and saying, Janae, who do you want to come out? What platform would you like to have on display? She's saying, I know she wants to do some type of, have an author or somebody to come up and talk about how you publish a book, or, I don't want to take away from her, because you need to bring her in for that. But she's going to be spearheading it the World Book Day, and it's going to be at the Clean Arts and Activity Center, and that's the first weekend in March.
First weekend in March, and I definitely will have her back on the show with that. That's my Capricorn sister right there, Miss Janae Ratcliffe. You can follow her on social media as well, too. Young author herself, Janae. So please follow her on social media. She puts out a lot of great content. I think Nae's on like her 5th book or something like that.
Yes.
That girl just be writing
It's a
books.
chapter book.
Yeah, it's a chapter book. She's always writing some book. And matter of fact, I'll say this because I know for a fact she's got books for sale. So if you guys are
She'll be there.
yeah, buy her books. I mean, really. And I'm going to tell you why you should buy her books, because I'm in her Essential Workers Day book. My goodness. I'm in there. So you got to buy that book to see me. That's my first ever time me being put in a book. I'm important now. You know, that's my every time I go somewhere and speak, I always mention her book, and I always have her book, and I'll be like, look at me, I'm in this book. So she does good work. I love her. I love all your grandchildren. Like you said, you've got 2 that's in the Navy now, right?
Yes, Zylia and Abriana.
Yeah.
Abriana's doing good. You know, we got our second call from her, and she's doing good. She tells around and said, Grandma, you know, because I'm a retired vet. She said, Grandma, I'm looking like you. You know, they got to issue them black glasses. She said, I'm looking just like you now. And they calling me Goldie, you know. And I said, they are. I said, well, you know what? I got some new glasses too. VA issue.
VA issue, yeah. Yeah, man. Shout out to Papa over here. Proud Papa. I know he don't want to be on the camera or nothing like that. But, you know, those are his daughters, man. They doing great work. And this was all coming from you. Like you had these young babies when they were young, and the discipline and the dedication to put on these events. I've watched them grow. I'm just amazed with them to see them grow. Yeah.
Not just them, Rodney, Dr. Duckett.
Yes, ma'am.
Your group.
Oh, thank you.
You know, I've watched them. You know, Dante right now.
He's something else, ain't he?
He's doing I forgot the name of it, but it's for the youth, you know.
Yeah.
Right now, starting in October, you know, and he's doing it free for them to do the entrepreneurship and everything. And I'm like, look at this young man. Then you get Kenneth, you know, gone into
the Marines,
the Marines, and what's
Tristan,
Tristan, you know, going to get ready to be a lawyer, you know. So it's not just about me, you know. It's community, because I'm like, hey, let them young men come over here and help me out, you know. And then you're like, let these kids come over and help me out. So that's what community is about, you know.
It is.
To me, is part of Kwanzaa, unity, you know, collective works and responsibility.
Yeah.
You know, bringing everybody together. Try to be underneath for one umbrella, you know, even though we have our different organizations. It's still coming together. Yeah. And that's what we do very well.
Yeah. The collaboration is real. And when we come together, the young men, they enjoy working for you. They really enjoy. They want to do their best, and they love to put their suits on. You know, that's the one thing they sometimes argue about, what color suits or what color ties or whatever. And it's refreshing to know that they really enjoy putting on those suits, because y'all know I don't like wearing a suit, but I gotta wear a suit for the young men. You know, so but they enjoy it, and they check me sometimes to make sure that I look right in my suit. So that's very beautiful.
Well, I'm looking for them this year for Kwanzaa too.
Yeah,
you know
I got my little guy is still here, Mr. Isaiah, and I have Jaden too. So we're going to be reaching out to those brothers as well too, to get them to come out and do some stuff. And then also, I want to mention this before I forget. Mr. Harold Lewis is going to have an exhibit at the Bell County Museum. So if you guys love photography, you got to get Mr. Harold Lewis. I'm gonna see if he can make it out.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 90, so sometimes Mr. Harold depends on how the weather is with him. So, but he would love to come out and do a little bit of talking as well too.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about. You know, I really would like I said, you know, all about us, bringing us all together, you know, underneath one umbrella.
That's it. So this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. We'll be right back. Hey Okay, we are back with the lively art of conversation where you live, you learn, you earn. My goodness, you pass it along. I am here with Miss Empress herself, Miss Darlene Golden. Hey, guys, if you want to be a part of this show, reach out to me, livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. I need underwriters. 2026 is coming up, and we are here. Now, we talked about Kwanzaa. We talked about Miss Darlene's life. We talked about her grandchildren. We talked about all these wonderful things. But I really want to hit on the 2026 and what Kwanzaa could bring to you in 2026. Talk about a little bit about the Nguzo Saba, those principles.
The first one is Umoja, which means unity. It's all about coming together, unity of family, unity of community, you know. The next one is Kunde Chankalir. That is self-determination. I really like that one because we determine what we're going to do. Yes. We determine how we're going to do it and when we're going to do it. So I really like this self-determination, you know. And then the next one is Ujima, collective works and responsibility. That encompasses a lot. It goes hand in hand to me with Ujama, collective responsibility. Cooperative economics, because in order to come together, you got to be able to have your finances right. You know, you have to be able to collectively tie everything in from a business perspective. But it not only has to do with your finances, it just has to be, to me, with your state of mind.
State of mind, yes.
You know, so we have to collectively, you know, come together that way. And then we have Nia. Nia.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay. Nia is purpose. And I'm thinking I'm missing one. Creativity.
Kumba.
Yeah, Kumba. Okay. Creativity first.
I didn't want to step on you.
No, I'm getting old, you know. I should be saying I'm getting new, but I'm not going to tell no lie. I'm getting old, you know.
No, you good. You good.
You have the creativity Kuumba, you know. I always like to have the youth come up and light the candles, and each youth, when they light the candle, they say what it's for.
Yes.
You know, so it's all about teaching the youth because we're passing the torch on to them. And then near is purpose, you know. Everyone needs to know their purpose. Yes, everyone needs to, you know, if you don't know, it took me a while. You know, I'm not going to tell no lie. It took me a while. You know, I had to go through some things in life,
yes, ma'am.
You know, before it really hit me like what my purpose was. You know, even though I was this hard, nonchalant, no foolishness type of person, it ended up having me redefine myself to say, you know what, my purpose is right now making sure I'm looking out for the next generation. You know, I need to make sure this generation that comes after me is ready to teach the next generation. You know, because we all have to teach. You know, we all have to teach. Even though you may think you're not a teacher, you are a teacher.
Yes.
You know, so we all have to be able to teach, you know. We all have to be able to tell our story, and we all have to be able to share. You know, and when I'm saying share, you know, sometimes it's heartfelt, you know, and people may not want to hear it, but it's going to help that next person. You don't know, you know, so we have to be able to do that.
Yes.
So once you find your purpose, live it.
Yeah, that purpose is very, very important. I say, you know, purpose is that energy combined with that passion and productivity, and once you get those wheels are turning, you know, people identify you by your purpose. You could be a man of purpose, as they say, a woman of purpose. You know, when you walk into that room, we used to have this principle when we used to see Mr. Nelson. He would say, "Oh, business is just now picked up," because he's all about his purpose, and he would say, "My purpose is to make you a better man." You know, so.
I always say too, not just my grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
I know I speak of them a lot, but I'm proud of them.
Yes.
I speak of my children, and my grandchildren are able to come back to me now, and they start saying things that I used to say, little sayings and little quotes and everything, and they end up telling me, Grandma, you used to say to us, especially when we bring friends to your house, don't have them have that hat on. And we tell them, take that hat off, take that hat off. You know, don't shake my grandma's hand, you know. And if they come in, don't speak, the first thing I do is turn back around, go back out that door. You know, and they looking at me, you know, but that's part of redirecting them, you know, because they need to know it's manners and respect.
Yes.
You know, so you got it, all of that encompass purpose. You teaching them, you know, each one reach one and each one teach one.
Definitely. And that's something that you guys should know. When you go into an elder's home, you always greet that elder first. Always greet that elder. You know, make yourself useful when you're in that home. You know, you just don't walk into people's house without acknowledging people. You got to stop that. You got to do right by people, you know. So because it's a blessing and it's an honor for them. Think about this, for them to invite you into their home, okay? Into their home. And a lot of people take for granted, they just think they can just walk into somebody's home. You just don't do that. It's an invitation because they can easily tell you to get out, you know. And so, but definitely that. So what does Kwanzaa mean to you as we're getting ready to close this thing? And some stuff that we want to just pass it along. Like, what does Kwanzaa mean to you? Or if someone's just listening and say, I really like this Kwanzaa thing, I'm unsure. What does Kwanzaa mean to you?
Oh, my heart is full for that one.
Yeah, you go ahead. You got the mic.
It's all about love. It's all about having a desire to be able to share your culture. You know, because even though it was created out of chaos, out of riot, you know, it was created to bring us together, you know, and to celebrate and know who we are.
Yes.
You know, there's an African proverb, I'm probably going to say it wrong, until the lion tells his story. The what is it? The hunt.
The hunter.
Yeah, will never be glorified, you know. So we need to share our story. We need to share our history. We need to share our love. We need to share our compassion, our commitment, our drive, you know. We need to share the best of who we are.
Yes.
You know, and that's what Kwanzaa means to me, you know, sharing the best, you know. Like I said, whoever won that talent show, that's the best winner there, you know. And it was a young person. Yeah. You know, whoever won Miss Juneteenth or whoever won, you know, just anything, you know, their accomplishments, the young people. It could be an adult. It don't really matter. It's the best of who we are. And that image is us.
It is us.
You know, so when these young people come up and they seeing us, it makes them say, I can do that. I can aspire to be there. Yeah. You know, so long as we put us first, the generation that comes behind us, and they see us, it encourages them to be more and do more.
I love that. Love. Kwanzaa is love. And it truly is love, because Kwanzaa brings out the very best of us. If you go back to the word of the week that I told you guys, it is about those principles. It is about defining the why behind the what. And that is what Kwanzaa is all about. So if you are stuck for the year and you don't even know what to start with, you can take any one of those 7 principles and you can work yourself through 2026 and be a better person by using those principles. I love Kwanzaa because it gives you structure, discipline, and an order. It gives you an order to align yourself to. So it is very, very good. So for you guys that want to know more about Kwanzaa, December the 27th, the time will be right here on this actual, if you're watching this or you're hearing it, you're going to see that time flash and the place and all that different stuff. It's going to be right here. And I want you guys to come on out. It's free. Bring the family. It's very friendly. Everybody has a good time when they're there. And you guys are going to be amazed because it is one of those in-the-year family reunions where everybody comes together and just love on one another. As we begin to close, do you have anything you want to pass along before we close this down?
You always put me in a spot. You always put me in a spot. I would say enjoy life.
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life because, we don't know neither today or tomorrow.
Yes.
So live your life, enjoy life, and do life.
I love that. I love this. This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. I am here with Miss Principals herself. That's right. Miss Empress, Miss Darlene Golden has been in the house. We are going to do this Kwanzaa thing like we do all the time. And what I want you guys to do is work on those questions that I told you to find your why behind your what. This is the Lively Art of Conversation. Thank you guys for being here, and we will see you next week.